a thrift store redo of a canvas art. So I found this canvas at a thrift store and it looks all right. My kids said it looked all right. But I wanted to do some adding to the trees and make it not so gloomy, because at first it looked like a Halloween decoration. And the main color of it is, of course, a yellow sunset or sunrise. And the glow of it is the basic entire image of the canvas. So it's okay. It definitely needs more to it, and I'm gonna do that by adding a lot more trees, plant life and stuff to these branches, and going over the branches that are already full. And then eventually the background, the water, the rocks. So I guess enjoy the process. This acrylic paint works good on the canvas. It's not too heavy and it'll dry quickly. Even though it's my kids' paints, it's kind of just the regular basic RGB, and I can work with that. The difficult part will be this deep, kind of darker, heavier, thicker forest. There should be a lot of green leaves in there, and I'm kind of concerned about overlapping. And that's what the different tones of green, different shades of green should work for, is to layer that right. Then I started putting green foliage on the sticks out in the distance of this swampy area. And they started looking like some dude in a ghillie suit, and that's not what I was trying to go for. So I end up fixing this later, so it's not the Sasquatch. A lot of these branches were purplish gray and very washed out, like it's been in the sun a little bit. Or someone just used too much water with that color they were using. So I decided to really darken it, make it more contrast, added brown in case the eye can pick up some of that brown color. I'm assuming people know that branches are usually brown. So you can see I've fixed those strange mutant trees in the background that I had made, and now they look more normal, coniferous, coniferous, broadleaf trees in the background. There you go. I've added a couple brush strokes of blue over the water, and before in the very beginning it was all yellow. So now we've got tones in the water. Got a lot more color to it. There's a giant, what do you call those penny trees? They used to be called penny trees. And they turn yellow golden during the fall. So I'm showing that there's a lot of those back here. That's kind of what was on the canvas already from the previous person. And I'm not consistent. I move around the canvas a lot. I'm not staying in one spot. Getting frustrated, I guess. Flustered. 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 And I get the paintbrush and moving. So here I'm just adding a little bit of this mud brown. It's just mud. It's like red, green, a little bit of yellow and white. It's literally mud. I also added green. It looked too much like the Candyland game board, so I got rid of some of that white. It was excessive. It's like everything was covered in saran wrap or tinsel foil. Maybe I should make a Christmas tree. But anyways, ripping into myself here. So I kind of dabbled all over and got some of that bright white out. And then I came back down to work on these rocks. So I've been adding a little mud brown. You can see it there, right there. Just a little bit of mud brown. Just Bob Rossing it right now. And using my kids' painting stuff, because why not? And it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, everything's paintable again. So it can all be painted over. Like that. Or that right there. Let's just spread this color out. A little too bright for this area. This is a very dark area. We'll just kind of get rid of some of that. Until it's not so noticeable. Here's my smart cat. Hey, Zelda. Zelda. So I'm just kind of going with it. Clearly I've got too much on my brush. What the smurf. So just kind of spread it out. This is kind of just tricking the eye. You want the eye to see shapes and stuff. You don't have to get super detailed with it. So I'm mudding some of these rocks up. That doesn't sound complicated, but if you just kind of go with the flow. move my makeshift easel portion. There is too much on my brush. I'm gonna use the other brush. So get the mud in there. Some of this is turning out pretty cool. Some of it, not so much. Could work on it a little bit more. Or get rid of certain things that are just a little too cheesy. So this mud is a warm color. Usually you put warm colors where the light hits. Warm means the light is warming it. Usually if it's dark, there are cool colors. Things that are greenish blue or colorless, like black. That's where you use your darkest colors. This is where the light doesn't hit. So there could be a very large rock way back here. I'm going to make the sides of it. This could be also a very large rock. We'll put the warm color on the top portion, wherever the sun could hit. And a little bit down here, just so we can see it. We need to be able to see it. Could use a different color down there at the very bottom. So that looks now kind of like a great big boulder. Now, there are a couple tree branches way up here. That are faded from different layers of paint. majority of the rocks turned out pretty cool. There's enough contrast and highlights and shadow in the water and some, I guess, water reflections on the sides. I turned those odd trees in the background into more of those birch trees, the penny trees. They're just smaller versions and somewhere in the background doing whatever they want to do. Tree stuff. So the distant tree and the foreground tree contrast okay. You can see the shoreline and a lot of the rocks and the reflection of light and dark in the water. And that turned out pretty interesting. I don't think it's quite accurate, but it's good. The shoreline here is really dark with blues and grays and blacks. And the water just kind of laps up to it. There's trees in the background, and one in particular that has a lot of bend to its branch, which catches the eye. The plant life looks a little goofy, but